You're listening to the Good Question Podcast with Richard Jacobs. Our goal is to make each of our guests exclaim, that's a good question. I don't know the answer. Because when that happens, it means you, the listener, may be inspired to learn more beyond the interview and to ask great questions yourself that lead to new insights. In this podcast, we cover historical and current anthropology, comparative religion, and history. Welcome, and let's get started.
Hello, this is Richard Jacobs with the Good Question Podcast. My guest today is Dane Johnson. He's the founder of CrohnsColitisLifestyle. We're going to talk about Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, irritable bowel disease, etc. Dane is a board-certified nutritionist and a very successful Crohn's colitis coach. That means he actually helps people. He's had his own wrangling with, these terrible diseases. So it'd be a very good call today, I believe, that will help a lot of people. So welcome, Dane. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Rich. Thanks for having me, and hopefully we can change some lives today and just figure this thing out, because inflammatory bowel disease is one of the worst things that can happen to us. Hopefully we can learn and make it one of the best things.
Yeah, I mean, probably everyone's had at least occasional stomach pains sometimes late at night, and man, it's not fun. It feels horrible and it hurts, but I'm sure there's nothing to persistent pains and problems whenever you eat. Maybe you could start by telling us about your own journey with Crohn's and colitis. What happened to you?
Yeah, so 19 years old, I started getting blood in the stool randomly, a lot of stress, working out a lot. And you didn't know if I just ate something or something happened. A lot of shame, didn't want to tell anybody. And finally, throughout college, I started noticing it more and more. Went to the doctor, got diagnosed ulcerative colitis. Ironically, later on, another doctor, another hospital said, no, it's Crohn's disease, which is a different form of IBD. And then the doctors and hospitals kind of went back and forth. It's ulcerative colitis. No, it's Crohn's disease. They're very similar. It's just where the inflammation is and how it's like a subcategory of inflammatory bowel disease. So that's when I was diagnosed. And then it kind of just progressed. So from 21, 22 to 26, 27, it got worse and worse until it was life-threatening. And it nearly killed me in 2014 in the hospital.
What does life-threatening mean? Like you can't absorb any nutrients, or what does that mean?
So it means, I went to 120 pounds, 6'2". I was on a feeding tube. I was having 25 bloody bowel movements a day, extremely anemic, extremely dehydrated.
Holy shit.
Yeah, could not eat, could not drink, lost consciousness for days. My body couldn't absorb anything. The inflammation was so bad. And then I was too sick to do surgery because I wanted to cut out my colon and just attach a bag on it's called a stoma bag.
Thank God they didn't do that.
Well, and they do it to a lot of people in this world. It's kind of what I'm passionate about, is helping support people with this, because the surgeon was waiting out the room and they just said, give us the green light. And luckily my mom helped. I mean, it could have killed me. So yeah, anyone listening who's dealt with this, this is a serious thing. I risked my life not getting the surgery, but I rolled the dice. I didn't get the surgery, and then I started getting better. I can share actually one of the root causes of why I got sick is how I got better.
Let's start with that. Why do people, what's typical? Is it any age, any circumstance, or what causes it?
It's an epidemic, man. It's okay. In the year 1999, there was 1 million people diagnosed with inflammatory bowel disease in the United States. Now it's about 3.2 million. And first case didn't exist till the 1950s. So you're talking a 50-year spread for 1 million, 14-year spread for 2 million, 7-year spread for 3 million.
Really?
Yeah. So now, we get parents with 2-year-olds calling us. I've got people who got diagnosed in their 60s. No problems before that.
Weird. So what happens? Is this like a systemic microbiome imbalance that just cascades, or what happens?
Pretty much. It's a cascade of our environment getting destroyed and our bodies responding differently. So the microbiome is, the city of bacteria that keeps your body in balance. Most of us have heard 70% of your immune system lives in the gut. So when you hurt that area, there's no telling what's going to happen. But just autoimmune disease is on the rise everywhere, which is all linked to the gut. So you got rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis, all these things. So if I was to break it down to why I believe this epidemic is happening, is the destruction of the microbiome through microplastics, toxins in our food. Like really big hitters is going to be glyphosate, emulsifiers like polysorbate 80 or certain guar gums that are just really injuring the gut lining, microplastics, antibiotics. They're just destroying this very divine ecosystem in our gut, and then it allows certain bacteria, candida, or other things to proliferate when they do, because they're not in check anymore. Like think of a city, right? If you don't have enough police officers, East Harlem's going to become all of Manhattan. So it starts to spread. That's what SIBO is, like small intestine bacteria bacteria overgrowth. That's an imbalance. So when I say proliferating, it's an imbalance. Things that are naturally there, but when they overgrow, they become inflammatory, they release toxins, and it causes a cascade across the body. Now, no one tells you this when you're diagnosed with a chronic gut disease. So you have to go back, and I'm 12, 15 years later telling you guys now, yeah, it's absolutely microbiome issues, one of the core issues.
Well, as you said, polysorbate, I believe in guar gum. I flashed whatever it is. What flashed in my mind is I've seen that on labels a lot.
Yep.
So how pervasive is this stuff? And I guess it makes a lot of food shelf stable. Is that why it appears so many places?
It helps to bind foods together. I think the bigger one that has more clinical research is the polysorbate 80. There's a lot of different gums that are not a big problem for people, but if you're sensitive, and it's kind of like an epigenetic roll of the dice. If you start to hurt your body, we don't know how your body's going to respond, because are you someone who those colonies are going to grow back? So my mentor and with microbiome will say, are you a good host? So beneficial bacteria has to like you. You have to, it's a roll of the dice. So when you add in all,
you have to put out food that it likes. You can't just invite it over your gut and have nothing for it to eat.
And even when you do have it things to eat, once you've diagnosed IBD, we know you just got a weakened gut where you're susceptible. So you have to stay on top of it where other people don't have to try as hard. It's the same thing with mold. Everyone listening who's got any kind of chronic disease, it can be the same root issue causing rheumatoid arthritis, cancer, or inflammatory bowel disease. You could have the inability to process mycotoxins found from mold in your house, where your brother or your mom doesn't have the problem. So you get sick, they don't, has nothing to do with the food. So there's different root issues. We all respond different. Same thing with parasites. Or a person could be sitting here having beer filled with glyphosate and yeast, and they don't have an antibody reaction, right? They don't have antibody to certain yeast like Saccharomyces cerevisiae, like a person who has genetically predisposed to IBD would, right? So if you have the high antibody ASCA, anti-Saccharomyces cerevisiae antibodies, you are 70% more likely or to be diagnosed with Crohn's disease specifically. So there are all these root issues that are attacking the body, and then they're expressing themselves in different quote unquote diseases that the doctors are labeling. But all the diseases, the doctors don't know the root cause. So IBD equals IBK. It's better if the doctor just said, hey, you got chronic inflammation in this part of the body. We don't know what causes it, but we have steroids, antibiotics, immunosuppressants, and surgery. Do you want any? That's kind of just realness of it.
Yeah. So instead of irritable bowel disease, it would be called the idiopathic bowel disease, I guess.
Yeah. That's why natural medicine is on the rise, is because now we're starting to look at what's actually happening with the innate body, the divine body. So root issues is going to be toxin overload, and our body's all going to express differently. The ones that you got to watch out with the gut, glyphosate, microplastics, emulsifiers like that polysorbate 80. It's what holds ice cream together, or like Jif. You ever look on top of Jif, it's just like a meaty little peanut butter where you get a natural one, oil on top. That's the difference, the emulsifiers, right? So those kind of bulkers, emulsifiers, it can be a problem. And then you got, other toxins like VOCs in the air, volatile organic compounds, or PCBs, or heavy metals like chlorine and mercury and lead that are all clinically researched and shown to disrupt the microbiome and maybe linked to IBD, IBS, all of it. So these...
Are there any canary in the coal mine foods that, if you have problems with them, that's like a really good first indication that you're headed down a bad path?
If you've got a problem with, I would say a sign, if you eat insoluble fiber or raw foods and you see it undigested all the time, that's a sign of really poor digestion, which means you're very susceptible. If you constantly get bloated and gassy, that's a sign that you have bacteria overgrowth usually, which means you're going to be more susceptible, and it could lead to what's called metabolic endotoxemia. So don't think that a diagnosis is objective. It's subjective. So it can move. That's what doctors don't tell us, and you need to really understand right now is you can get IBS and it can turn into IBD. You can get IBD and it can turn into colorectal cancer. These problems do continue to perpetuate if they're not fixed at the root issue, and you can't just suppress it away. That's why people go, hey, I got my colon removed and I was good for 3 years and then I'm bad again, because the root issues were never dealt with. So, and also the good news is everything you do naturally and everything you do conventionally can be combined for a greater result. So you have to use mesalamine or a biologic, do it with the natural protocols, and I bet your chance of getting into remission goes up, 2, 3, 5x. You can't just say, I'm going to eat Burger King and go on these drugs and everything's going to be okay. It don't work that way, especially by the time you're diagnosed, because by the time you're diagnosed, the problem has proliferated into multifactorial. So with IBD, you've got 5 biochemical issues, biochemistry, I should say, in this issues going on in the body. Your digestion process doesn't work. That's liver, pancreas, and stomach acid. Your microbiome microbiome's out of balance. Okay. The ability for the beneficial bacteria to keep in line all the dysbiotic bacteria or candida or viruses or so forth. Then you've got the gut lining that is injured. It's like the Chinese wall or the Berlin Wall has been broken down. That's opening up the bloodstream and the immune system to whatever's in the body. And that's where you get severe autoimmune reactions, skin issues, arthritic issues, brain fog, mitochondrial dysfunction, and your liver getting overwhelmed, called metabolic endotoxemia. So the liver can't deal with all the endotoxins released from the proliferating bacteria that causes SIBO. So bad bacteria releases. Go ahead.
It's like a chronic dysbiosis that starts breaking down all these ancillary things, the stomach lining, et cetera, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, that's why they put us, like mesalamine is a natural, it helps to reduce reactive oxygen species in the gut, specifically the colon. They stumbled upon it helping with ulcerative colitis. So that's why they use it, because it helps to metabolize the hydrogen peroxide buildup from that person's inability to do it themselves. So it's just like it acts almost like a powerful antioxidant. Like RDLA does the same thing, which is a metabolite of alpha lipoic acid. That's why I'll give certain clients high dose of that with ulcerative colitis, can help put them in remission. Okay. So it's like, it's a cascade effect it just goes off. So digestion, microbiome, then the gut lining. Think of the Chinese wall is broken. You got no border control, and that leads to the bloodstream, and 70% of the immune system lives right behind the gut lining. So now your immune system is going to freak out to stuff that's not supposed to be there. Then you've got the nervous system. So the autonomic nervous system, it's responding based on what you're experiencing. That's the stress. That's the earthing, sunlight, chill out, good sleep. You got to be able to give your body the signal to chill out. And all of that's going to help with the 6, which is the balance of the immune system. So all of these things are autoimmune disease. Your immune system's freaking out. Why? Because of those 5 things. And then you've got to go after the toxins we talked about. If you want a good book of anyone listening of just like, okay, I want to dive into toxins, read The Toxin Solution by Dr. Joseph Pizzarno. And he's just going to break down the main toxins in our air, food, and water. But all toxins, air, food, and water. What's a toxin? A man-made chemical, predominantly. So
how a protocol, I know it depends on the situation of the person, but how difficult are the protocols to heal? Is it just don't have products anymore with polysorbate 80 and guar gum? Or like how far do you have to go?
Well, the crazy thing about it is you can get massive results from doing a few things. Like Rich, you've probably heard of people online. It's like, oh, I did this one thing and it changed my life. They're not lying, because everything you do can have a compound effect in the body, because everything in the body is connected. So some people will get better where they get rid of stress, they go out in sunlight and they stop drinking alcohol for a week and they feel a lot better. So it has this massive where it takes pressure off the detox pathways. It helps the microbiome reset, the cells calm down, the immune system calm down. So you can get a great result by doing something that just works in your body, and it just like, boom, it just bounces off and gives you a 10x response. But other people, depending on how sick you are, you have to add, 10, 15 different protocols to try to get that your body respond, because it's so sick that the negative inflammatory energy is compounding towards you. And that's the chronic sick, right? And that happens usually when you're diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. So the quicker you get on it, the better. So when who's listening is going, wow, what do I do? The first thing you do is you just stop doing things that put you in an inflammatory place. Like, it's more about what you're not eating than what you are eating for anyone who just wants to start getting better. That doesn't cost a lot, and that's low risk. Like,
what do you mean you're not eating versus what you're eating?
Meaning that you can sit here and argue if you should have more plants or more meats, or grains are bad or nuts are good, but really what you want to focus on is getting rid of the obvious that everyone agrees. Get rid of the gluten, get rid of the processed food, get rid of the seed oil, get rid of high fructose corn syrup, get rid of all the chemicals and all the packages. Try to eat more home cooked meals or organic foods, and stop snacking in general and eat 3 squirrel meals a day. Stop drinking things that you got to pop open. Drink water and tea. Hot water, right? Hot water, tea, chamomile, ginger, peppermint, a little lemon juice, electrolytes. Be careful of just opening things. Like most things, you can spend the extra money and find stuff, especially in California, where it's a little cleaner with this way and that way. But if you want to understand the spectrum, just try to eat things that your great grandfather had access to. And you're pretty much going to hit the nail on the head with 99% accuracy of eliminating most toxins in your food.
Yeah, the problem is, though, you're literally, when you're outside your house, at work, wherever you're going, you're literally surrounded by 99% of things that your grandfather wouldn't run into.
Exactly. That's why there's an epidemic of sickness. And so that's where strategy comes in. And that's where it takes time. It's like never in life have we had so much convenience that was toxic. And then we had to deal with so much things that are naturally addicting and colorful that's so bad for us. Like, I don't think humans have ever been tested in this this way. I don't think our great grandfather would have like won this test in 1855. It just didn't exist. So I think that what I do, and this is something I really say heavily, like you got to divorce Western world thinking. I mean, they use the word divorce because it paints that picture of like how it feels and what it's like. You were born into a world of false conveniences. And you can do it. And that's why I always tell people when I work with them, like, we don't cheat, we celebrate. You can do it. Just know, understand it, and start building systems and proof of concept that you don't need it. So when you have it, you can also let it go. It's like the difference between a guy who's addicted to a pack a day of cigarettes versus someone who can just have one once in a while and let it go. You know what I'm saying? You got to know yourself.
I guess maybe you could say convenience has a consequence. And for some people, it has terrible consequences.
Yep. I call it a convenience tax. Anything that's convenience has a tax to your health, like your gut health. So if you've been diagnosed with IBD like I was, and you were life-threatening like I was one of the worst cases you can have. I had to really own this. But I mean, Rich, beforehand, I worked at Papa John's Pizza. I ate McDonald's twice a week. It was $7 for a 1,000-calorie meal that tastes good. Are you kidding me? I get it. So it's, little things you can do is just like takeaways for snacks or things on the road. Like get a coconut yogurt or an unsweetened yogurt. Add your own honey. Add your own berries. I always bring fruit everywhere, like bananas, blueberries, blackberries. Berries are the best fruits for your health. They're high in antioxidants, polyphenols. They're low in sugar, and they're great fiber source. Help you poop well and help with the microbiome. They're great prebiotic. Like bananas can be really good because there's no seeds, no skins, high in magnesium, potassium, and they're 100 calories each. Go for like a clean meat. I would just go into a Whole Foods, go to the hot food bar or wherever, and just get some chicken, avocado, a little side of carrots, something like that. Just try to eat things that are a little bit more natural. And when you're starving, usually you just need meat, salt, a little fat, and white rice. White rice, even though it's not really nutritionally dense, it's not too risky. If it's clean and low in arsenic, it doesn't have any oxalates, lectins, or phytic acid. So like a congee or just a basic cleaned organic white rice can be most likely not going to hurt your gut. Is it nutritionally dense? No, but the salad's nutritionally dense, and anyone with gut issues is probably going to feel terrible on the salad. So just because something's nutritionally dense doesn't mean it's going to be good for you.
Oh, so you mentioned getting rid of seed oils, gluten, this, that, and the other. What seems to be the most difficult thing for people to get rid of or to stop having?
Alcohol. I mean, that's really in our society. I was able to really cut alcohol a few years ago, but even then I'm going to have this organic wine a few times a year, and that's okay. I mean, you got to find what's right for you, but I'd say alcohol is really tough for people. Breads, bakery is really tough for people. The best way to do it is just try to make your own stuff at home. Even simple like organic flours, and you start making it so you get rid of all those other ingredients and all those little binders or emulsifiers we talked about can be helpful. Another one that's, hard is just, the fast food. Everyone's on the road. Everyone's got work. You get an hour at lunch and you're in an office, and where are you going to go? It's just right there. So what I, also would say is make people earn their tips when you go to a restaurant. Just learn how to read a menu. And so common questions I'll ask them is, hey, can this be cooked? Can this either be boiled? So like when I get a side of vegetables, I never have them grill it. Never. Always boil it because they don't need oils, and it's way easier to break down. So if you have low stomach acid, it's way easier on your gut, and it's way easier for the babies. I got kids, so it's way easier for the babies to eat. So I always tell them like, hey, boil it and try to cook it so my 18-month-old or 20-month-old can eat it. Right? Simple things like that. Like what oil is this cooked in? Do you have a non-cut extra virgin olive oil, or do you have even a butter? I'll take a butter, like a real cow butter, over canola oil, safflower oil, or soybean oil all day. Can I swap? Like one of my favorite sides, I just get avocado with raw extra virgin olive oil and sea salt flakes. And that's it costs like $4 as a side instead of some trash appetizer that costs $18. So I always look like a side of fruit. Like I just know how to move around food and work with the waiter and make them earn your tip. And then find snacks. Like with snacks, I get sprouted nuts. So pre-sprouted organic nuts. I go to a place called livingnuts.com with a Z at the end, livingnuts.com. No affiliation. And I get like sprouted pecans, pumpkin seeds, walnuts, and pistachios. Those are some of my favorite. And I'll just throw in some organic dried cranberry or organic cacao nibs, throw it in a Ziploc bag. Boom. We got a little trail mix. Or
why is this sprouted just have more microbes in it? Is it fermented in the sense?
Yeah, sprouted's a big word that it's been soaked. And when you soak any kind of seed or grain, it helps to break apart all the plant defenses called lectins or phytic acid or other things that's on the plant. And it helps all the nutrients be more bioavailable. So it's easier to digest. Basically, one of the best hacks you can always think about when you're trying to eat food is make it more digestible and more absorbable, and you get less inflammatory response. So, if you're brand new and you're really sick right now, this isn't for everyone unless you're really sick and you have IBD, but no seeds, no skins. If you can't squish it, don't eat it. That's a really good foundation just to start with when you don't know what to eat and why, and everyone's talking about all these famous diets. Just go, no seeds, no skins. If you can't squish it, don't eat it. If you can make it at home, it's even better. These are just variables that if you just start there, then you can say, how do I have chicken, or how do I have these plants, or how do I have fruit, or how do I have, certain fats? And then try to cook in fats, not oils if you can. Oils are best raw, like an extra virgin olive oil raw on avocado. And cook with ghee. If you don't have a serious dairy issue, ghee is the best. It's clarified butter, 99% free of any casein and lactose, and it's high in butyric acid, one of the most important protective short-chain fatty acids for the colon. So I cook most of myself in ghee. And then, a lot of times I spend a little extra money just to buy premium stuff. So I'll buy like my beef patties. I buy them organic, pasture raised from a local farm. I get them online, and then I get inside of it infused grass-fed cow liver, 10% ratio of liver to beef. So right there, I've got dense heme iron. I've got methylated Bs. I've got my fat soluble vitamins, 80 KE, all in that liver. Like liver is the most nutritionally dense food on the planet. So my 2-year-old loves it. And then I get very specific like sauerkraut, fermented foods. Like these are little hacks you can take away that if you just even get this in your life, your gut's going to thank you. I love a place called like rawsuperkrauts.com. I think it's called Raw. It's Superkrauts or Raw Superkrauts, guys. And then a great place I love to get beef is called Buy Ranch Direct, and look at their beef booster. But these are all little things where you can figure it out. Like snacks, I'll get like Paleo Valley's beef sticks, right? They're like $1. They're like 80 cents a beef stick. It's like 10 grams of protein.
Oh, wow.
Nothing in it, no nitrates, organic, no crazy black pepper, any of this stuff you get in like a Slim Jim. And it's like, I just give them to my kids. I'm on the road. So I got my trail mix, maybe a little coconut yogurt with some berries or fruit and honey. Maybe I've got some raw cheese with some blackberries and blueberries. Maybe I'm making a quick little shake. My favorite protein is like a bone broth protein. I don't really do a lot of, unless it's a whey isolate and a really good one, usually like a bone broth, which is hydrolyzed beef. Most people autoimmune aren't going to respond. So these are all like, after you've been doing this for 12, 13, 14 years, you just build systems. I call it shield. Like you build your shield. You build your systems around food, people, lifestyle, your goals. Like I want to get married and not have problems, or I want to gain 20 pounds, or I'm a professional athlete. You just got to build your unique answer and make it work for your life. And then really the unveiling happens that everyone around you kind of wants this too, as they just want it to be convenient. I think the world's really getting over poisoning ourselves. Like everyone kind of just, like, you ever notice this? You go to like a club, or even, I don't really do all the party scene anymore like I did when I was 20s, but I started to notice the shift that less people were having crappy alcohol and more people were getting like, hard seltzers that were gluten-free and yeast-free, or they're drinking tequila only, right? They're at this party and they're doing tequila because they know that it's lower sugar and it's gluten-free and they'll have less of a hangover. So there does seem to be the shift that everyone wants to have a good time, but we don't want to hurt ourselves doing it.
Right.
And so that's the awakening that you want to step into. And then you just enroll everyone you love around that and just come up with simple, convenient strategies. And if you have IBD or IBS, you will realize that people who don't even have these problems are still interested in the hacks and the protocols and the biohacking that you're going to learn and figure out. They're getting excited about it, especially women. Like if you're not bloated and you're not gassy and you look skinny and fit in those jeans still, like the other girls who don't have GI issues are like, what are you doing? I need to talk with your nutritionist, right? Like, what are you doing? Like, get people inspired to live this way because it's actually more freeing. And
well, tell me a bit more about the what percentage of people that have some kind of bowel problem don't even know? What are more subtle signs and symptoms that they have a problem? Yeah.
So, everything in our modern world of diagnosis is like, once it's already really, really bad, I think you should start acting. If you have chronic bloating or you see signs of indigestion or heartburn, I think you should start acting now. If you are someone who gets chronic diarrhea or has to go to the bathroom 4 times a day or more, I would start acting right now. If you're somebody who gets like cramping and pain all the time, or you just have cystic acne, I would never take Accutane. Do not take that. Start acting now. If you have chronic arthritic pains around your body, chronic fatigue, brain fog, that's all the gut. Like the gut, one of the craziest things is, I'm a gut specialist, and I see people with all sorts of diseases. I don't even know where to start with, Rick. Okay, like Rich, I'm like, I don't know anything about it, but if I fix the gut, I'll commonly see all these crazy other diseases get better. Like things that people have been sick for 40 years. It's nuts. Yeah.
Well, again, with bowel problems, do you see any mental issues?
Oh yeah.
Like what do you see?
Well, first off, 95% of the serotonin and dopamine is made in the gut. So if you've got microbiome issues, you're not going to get those good feelings as much. And you're going to have a hard time sleeping. You're going to have anxiety. Plus, if you have malabsorption, you're not going to be breaking down those fats to make cholesterol, which helps to regulate hormones.
Right.
It's a vicious.
How were you when you had the IBD or IBS? Like, were you depressed? Is that like what is common in people? Is it depressed? Are they angry? Are they show signs of bipolar? Like what's for the mental set of issues? What manifests with these problems?
We're all a little bit different, but it's like you're at a loss. You're weak. You feel like a victim. You feel alone and isolated in your problems. You don't sleep well. No one understands you, so you feel isolated. It's hard to get if me and you were out and about, like we're out on a Friday night, like we're hanging out, work's done. We were able to build each other up and the energy comes up in the room. We laugh, we give each other hugs. You're not there. You're kind of just putting on a smile and you're so anxious trying to be there for other people and keep the energy up. But you're you almost want to leave. You just don't feel good in your body. You can't be present. You don't have the energy. You can hardly even think and have a conversation. You have brain fog. Your head's somewhere else, even in celebration situations. You feel like you don't even want to go to a party. You can't even eat or do what everyone else is doing, and they have no idea. And if they do have an idea, they can't make sense of it. So they
attribute it to something else, right?
Yeah, and it's debilitating. And the people, there's a lot of us who don't even have 10, 15 bowel movements a day. They're constipated, and this is happening. They can't even release, or there's no diagnosis. We see people all the time where they're going, the doctor gives me they say nothing's wrong. They say it's in my head. That's the craziest one. They say it's in my head. They can't find any issues, but I can't go to the bathroom. I had this guy I was working with. He was a surfer in Huntington Beach, and he came to me and he goes, dude, I have been seeing people for 4 or 5 years. This is 7 years ago, right? I've been seeing people for 4 or 5 years. Everyone tells me there's nothing wrong with me. My blood work's normal, my stool analysis is normal, my organic acid's normal, and I am so anxious and I can't stop going to the bathroom. They put him on antidepressants and he was just on them, not because of his mind, but because it was the only thing that helped him stop pooping. He was going 8 times a day. He could not stop it because sometimes there's microbiome issues going on, but your body doesn't cause an inflammatory response, so they don't see it in the labs or visually in the colonoscopy.
I've seen a number of people, usually young people, 20s, 30s, that have to have THC in order to be able to eat. Have you ever run across that? It just comes to mind because number one,
I have seen
number of them that can't.
I've seen that more in kids who are not gaining weight and they're not hungry because their gut doesn't feel right. But yeah, I've seen a bit of that. And sometimes the inflammatory response doesn't manifest in a way where the doctors diagnose. And so then you walk around undiagnosed, but it's the same problem. You've got to fix the liver. You've got to fix the microbiome, enhance the digestion. You got to move the lymphatic system, and you've got to help the body start pumping those good serotonin, that dopamine. You got to get sunlight. You got to get earthing. When in doubt, just go back to the nature. Don't try to always overanalyze the wave. Just learn to ride it. The body's a wave. I don't heal you. The divine body heals itself. I just kind of help ignite the divinity. Does that make sense?
Right. Right.
So it's if you're lost and overwhelmed with it, it's okay, clean up the diet, get your body moving, maybe consider things like castor oil pack, earthing, sunlight, make sure you're getting enough sleep, take lots of magnesium, electrolytes, look at maybe taking glycine and maybe a little bit of NAC to help your body create glutathione, or maybe you just need glutathione because your glucuronidase pathway is not open. You just can't get rid of toxins. That's a huge problem for why people are chronically sick. It's a problem of SEERS, chronic inflammatory response syndrome, is you just cannot handle any toxins. You're always acutely inflamed, even if you're not eating anything. So, I know a lot of people are probably getting major aha moments that just go with what the body needs to thrive when in doubt. Clean eating, be specific when you eat, try to get your sleep right, get the lymphatic systems moving. A keynote on that, if you're not moving, the lymph doesn't move. I don't need you to run marathons, go for walks, do some rebounding, up and down jump rope, get in a sauna if your body can handle it and you're ready and you're not, anemic and 50 pounds on underweight like I was, make sure you're doing things that are safe, speak with your doctor, and just start going towards that. Like that one guy, I worked him on probiotics. I put him on some very specific antipathogens and binders. I worked on his lymphatic system, castor oil packs, and I put him on a product called DopaBoost that helped give his body the ingredients to increase his natural dopamine. I mean, and he just started thriving for the first time in 10 years. It's like, I don't always need a test to say this is the problem, to start listening to the symptoms, or for you to start listening to the symptoms and respond on just how do you help the body thrive. And it's like the gut, digestion, drainage pathways. The 5 drainage pathways are the kidney, the liver, the lymphatic system, the ability to poop, and the ability to sweat. So if you're like, I hear this in a lot of young women, oh, I never sweat, I can't sweat. Well, then you can't detox.
Can't sweat.
Yeah. I bet there's some people right now listening going, yep, that's me. And they're laughing because I hear it all the time. It's like, oh, I never sweat. I go to the gym, I hardly sweat. I get in a sauna for 10 minutes, I barely sweat. If you're someone who sweats a lot, good.
Weird.
Yeah. So you got to work that out. Or it could be an underlying infection. You're eating right, but the 5 infections I commonly look at is parasites, which are the hardest to find, and lab tests are crap for parasites, by the way. Viruses, and viruses are hard to find because conventional labs suck at finding Epstein-Barr and cytomegalovirus. You need ELISpot technology, also checking the IgA antibody. So viruses, parasites, candidiasis, so candida overgrowth. It could be systemic. It could be in the gut. A stool analysis is really good to check. I like the Gut Zoomer by Vibrant America. And then you could also check bacteria. Bacteria is almost always the problem. Dysbiosis is bacteria overgrowth. So the thing with bacteria, it's not that it's bad, it's that it's overgrown. But you also have bad bacteria like E. coli or C. diff or Campylobacter. And then it's and then sometimes it could be like Lyme disease as a core problem, or it could be vaccine injury, could be a core problem. So you got to look at some of those root issues, but those pathogens are commonly mold. Mold's a big one because you could be eating perfect, doing parasite cleanses, but if you're living in Stachybotrys black mold or Aspergillus or Nocotoxin A, and you don't have the genetic ability to properly detox those mycotoxins, you're going to be sick no matter what you're doing. So you got to, and that's where functional medicine is getting really cool, is you need people who are experts in this issue. Specifically, the gut is like the best, where you get the biggest bang for your buck. Like when you focus on the gut and someone really knows what they're doing with the gut, you want to look at those toxins, detox pathways, pathogens, epigenetics. You don't need to throw $5,000 of lab work at it in the beginning if someone knows what they're doing. You can start making those tweaks that are really safe. Like the answer could be, we're going to go rebound and get an Epsom salt bath for 20 minutes, 3 times a week, get in the sun for 20 minutes while you're earthing, cut out all this crap eating you've been doing and go to bed on time and take 600 milligrams of magnesium glycinate with 3 grams of glycine. And all of a sudden you're 40% symptom relief and you did nothing of risk. Like it was all just easy.
What about like diet soda? You spoke about alcohol, but diet soda, I would think, is very pervasive in soda.
Just drink. Go back to the grandfather idea, right? When in doubt, just go back to grandpa. Put
cocaine in your Coke.
Yeah, well, the Coca-Cola and things like that.
That's their own grandpa.
Aspartame and all this other stuff, man, you don't want to be messing with that. Like if you were sick and trying to get better, any decision you're going to make, this is what really served me, because I was housebound for a year suffering and I didn't have any of this, guys. Like it was just a different world in 2009, 10, 11. And the way I did it is I looked at it. I was so convicted to heal. I had this rule. I said, anything I'm going to think about doing, could it potentially hurt me? Yes. Just potentially. Yes. Okay. What is the measurement of how it would help me heal? Not like diet soda, like none. So it could hurt me and it can't really help me heal. No, done. It's obvious. Why? Why would I put that variable in my life? Now, when you are suffering and you've almost died, you get that extreme. But that's if you're looking for a spectrum, just ask yourself, can it potentially hurt me and how much could it potentially help me? So if I do a parasite cleanse, could it potentially hurt me? Yes. But could it potentially change my life and get me in remission? Yes. So you're like, okay, that may be later in advance once I'm a double black belt ninja at this stuff, So you have to weigh the options. So I ask you the same question, like could going outside, earthing, going bed at time and taking magnesium and getting rid of the junk, like focusing on what you're not eating, can it hurt you? No.
No, I mean, if you're doing those right things, then no.
Could it potentially change your life? Yes. It's like, that's what you implement. You start with lowest kind of
Quick question. As long as someone follows, sensible protocols like these, have you ever had anyone you couldn't help?
I've had Everyone's got a few skeletons. I've had a few people. I've worked with probably one-on-one, maybe 2,000 people over the years. I mean, 20,000 hours of work. Okay. Not like you go through my program and read my videos and watch these 5 supplements. No, like real work, real hard work, 4 months minimum each person. I've been doing this a long, long time. I can give you an example of this girl. She, I worked for her parents. Her mother was a school teacher. I just felt so compelled. She was 15 years old and I worked for them for free for like 4 months, 5 months. And we did get better, but not as much as I hoped. And that was a really, really tough one. Her body would freak. She was so clogged, she couldn't handle a half a cap of like berberine or sweet wormwood. Like she couldn't handle anything. It was nuts. We did get her a little bit better, but we ended up having to use a biologic along with natural medicine. But most people, I mean, out of thousands, most people, it's just a matter of time. Like there's certain variables that increase. I'll tell you the variables that's going to increase your results with anyone you work with. The plan has to be customized. It can't be generic. If you're going to sign up for someone's program and they're going to give you a piece of paper that says, everyone do this and everyone take these supplements, you've got like a 30% chance of success, give or take. And if it needs to be customized. Number two, if you're working with someone and you only meet them once a month or once a 2 months, your chance of success, 30%. You have to be able to move on the chessboard. So the way you get results, I don't care if you're with Mark Hyman, Superman, it don't matter. Okay. If you are not looking at your plan and understanding the moving variables and controlling them every 14 days to 20 days, your chance of success dramatically decreases with anyone you're working with, anyone. Unless they've got like the super hack where like, we're going to do HBOB with peptides and this fast and like you can try to put together like the ultimate stack that might work better than that for certain people, right. But they would have a big budget and you better have good liability insurance. So, I would say it like on 14 to 17 days, I'm going to control the variables. Here's an example. What specific strain of probiotic are we using? Because a lot of people with mast cell activation or SIBO or histamine reactions can't handle kefir or yogurts or sauerkraut or lactobacillus strains. So I'm going to start with an independent probiotic.
What do you mean you can't heal? They can't
handle it.
They can't handle it. What happens to them?
You get a histamine response, so you get a Herxheimer reaction. So basically it causes a war in your body and then your poor drainage pathways, you feel like crap. It's like you get flu-like symptoms, diarrhea, headaches. You feel like you're flaring. You feel like you're getting worse. So that's a lot of times, like if I give you, Rick, if I'm like, okay, we know you have dysbiosis, we know you have SIBO, and I give you a robust wild oil of oregano at a 2-to-1 ratio of olive oil to that specific species that's broad spectrum and I know kills all that stuff, that might be like dropping a grenade in your gut and you call me the next day and you go, Dane, I feel like trash. And that's why a lot of chronically sick people, they are scared to even go see their doctor or naturopath because they know intuitively that if they try this stuff, there's a good chance they're going to feel worse and no one understands even the natural path. So it's like you have to know how you have to work with the specialist of chronic disease. You have to understand how the gut works. And so if you have to control the variables. So an example is I'm going to start you with a single strain probiotic at low dose, confirm it works. I'm going to put you on certain things, maybe a little curcumin, maybe a little bit of a binder, maybe in the beginning. I'm probably not going to start you on liver support because there's a chance you're going to freak. I need to get proof of concept before I start working on your drainage. I'm going to give you foods that you feel safe with. So we're going to talk, it's like, what list of foods do you feel good with? Do you feel good with meat? Do you feel good with any of these veggies? Are you a vegan or vegetarian? You want to focus on grains or beans? What's the risk versus reward? So it's like customized. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to have you run that play for 14 days. I'm going to meet you about 14 to 17 days later, and you're going to show me your notes. So you're not going to be on a diet for the rest of your life. It's like, show me your notes. Show me what happened. Let's just talk. How'd it go? And then I'm holding you accountable of a success tracker. So I'm keeping track of all your goals, all your symptoms, what's happening and why. And then as I'm looking at it, I'm saying, okay, that's probably the colon. That's probably the liver. That might be epigenetics. That might be just stress. That's the food fear. This is where we are with the medications. And so then I'm tracking those variables and then I'm tracking your daily blueprint variables. So what is your nutrition? What's your supplements? What's your herbs? Are you doing any biohacking stacking like peptides, HBOT, sauna, Firefly, ozone? Where are you at your skill level? Sometimes I'm working with someone who's like really skilled and I can play in that game great. I work with very advanced people who've been doing this for 20 years. And then basic. I got a 10-year-old or a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old. I'm brand new to this. I'm completely overwhelmed. And so I'm kind of doing that. Our team, we're doing that for you. And so then you track it, because if you just meet with someone who's genius and you don't meet for another month, man, something's not going to work. You're not going to know how to scale it and you're going to fall off and you're going to think nothing works for you and you're going to get discouraged. And it's really hard to be consistent with something for 3 or 4 weeks without someone validating you're doing it right, explaining what you're experiencing and moving the variables. Like, I want to move from half a cap to 2 caps of this. I want to take that out. I want to add this in at night. I want you to add more calories. You're not gaining enough weight. You're not getting enough fat. Let's add in more prebiotic soluble fibers because you're getting a little constipated. So if you're not, to get results, you have to be customized and you have to watch the variables and you have to track them and you need to be going over those variables. With severe cases, I will meet This is more, I do like a concierge thing sometimes, very limited people. I'll meet them every week, once a week, every 7 days, we tweak their plan. Like I've got one woman, I've got her about 75% symptom free in about 3 months. She's been sick for 20 years. Wow. And it's not because I'm a genius. It's because it's like, Rick, you ever like watch Indiana Jones where he's trying to get the golden staff and there's like a million booby traps all around him?
Yeah.
This success is knowing exactly what stone to step on without getting a dart in the neck. And there's like 50 stones everywhere. And that's what everyone feels like. You have to know how to move. That's low risk, high reward. So the biggest thing that I did with her is I said, like, we're not going to touch the liver. We're not going to go on this binder. You're not ready for it. We're not going to go after pathogens. You're going to get killed if you do that because she's so sensitive. So I just started on probiotics, single strain, powdered form, isolated, slowly worked them up. Started with bifidobacterium, which is low histamine and goes to the colon and won't mess with the SIBO I know she has. And then I worked on mitochondria energy. So I'm like, what vitamins can I get into your cell? And how do I get hydration and minerals that help your cells move toxins that I know is low risk, high reward, right? And then a little bit of L-carnitine and D-ribose because she had such a bad chronic fatigue. I needed to get her energy up a little bit. So without caffeine, because she can't handle it, right? So it's like, I'm working on mitochondria energy. I'm working on electrolytes, minerals, vitamins, a little sea salt. Like we put a pinch of salt right under her tongue with some water to kind of get her brain working. She also had POTS plus IBD and plus, a few other things, mast cell activation, like 5-6 diagnoses, past background of cancer, all that. And then it's like, once I can get certain things moving, now I can get something else. So then we added in just walks because she was like basically bedridden. So if we could just get her body moving, that was going to do wonders for her lymphatic system. So, and then, also can we get that natural sunlight, because sunlight is one of the best ways to boost your immune system and get natural vitamin D, because some of us genetically can't even convert the vitamin D supplement and it's a fat soluble. So if you're
about the pathways and stuff.
Yeah, dude. It's
how important are those?
That's why you can't do it with everybody. It's a fat soluble vitamin, ADKE. You need vitamin A, you need vitamin D, K, and magnesium to convert to 25-OH. And if you can't break that down and absorb it properly because you got a poor liver makes the bile that breaks down the fat. The fat doesn't break down in the stomach acid. Okay. Protein and carbohydrates break down in the stomach acid. The fat breaks down in the duodenum from the bile from the liver. But everyone who's sick has a stagnant bile production because the liver's backed up. So that's why their hormones are jacked and they can't even poop because you need bile to be able to move bowel movements. So through the small intestine, it's a vicious cycle. So it's like the wave. Again, it's like a divine thing that works. And I'm just looking at it. I kind of understand it. I try to give it what it needs to do what it divinely does. And I just try to make sure I don't blow it up.
So what percentage of people are able to help themselves? I mean, you're talking about real high level, intensely supervised work.
Yeah, we're going down to deep level. Yeah.
I'm saying for the average person, I don't know what percentage of the population has issues that are so severe, unless they have expertise riding along right with them, every week, they're not going to make progress versus they can substantially help themselves.
Well, that's the thing, because the wave's usually working for everyday people because they're not chronically sick. Let's say 1% of the population is chronically sick. What should the 99% do? The 99% should just empower their wave. That's why I said, focus on what you're not doing more so than what you are doing, because your wave's still doing okay, right? Be careful with alcohol. It's trash. It's trash. You should probably just give it up. If you've been thinking about it, give it up. It ain't helping you. It ain't helping with your goals. It ain't helping with your money. It ain't helping with your business. It ain't helping with your marriage. It ain't helping with your kids. It ain't helping with your fitness, your six pack. It ain't helping with the 6 a.m. surf session. It ain't helping. Okay. Number 2 is just crappy processed food and trash, fast food. It ain't helping. It's just putting you at risk that you might have to deal with all the stuff we just talked about. You don't want to deal with it. So just stop spending money on things that hurt you. Stop smoking, things with chemicals in them. I think another one is get a clean source of water. Stop drinking water out of plastic water bottles. You're just poisoning yourself. Get real water. Get a stainless steel water bottle. Carry it around if you need to, but get real water. Stop paying $8 for these pH balanced clean water that's been sitting in plastic in a heated area for months. God knows how long in a warehouse. That's not clean water anymore. Get a clean water source. Get a clean house. Put a HEPA filter in your house. Make sure your house is clean. Just eat real food. A lot of people I think are getting more privy to this. Eat real food. Do you need to take 1 million supplements and all? No. Build your plan. So that's why I also say when we talk about customization, if someone's saying, Dane, I don't need all that. I just want things that are going to help keep me healthy and keep me, my sex drive up and keep me looking young and keep my energy up. What I would look at as a stack is I would say, okay, get some fermented foods, go buy a sauerkraut, have some sauerkraut when you have meat, stop snacking, eat three meals a day and try to eat more of real food, either organic restaurants or home cooked meals. Try to go to bed earlier. Try to get 8 hours. Stop going to bed at 2 a.m. Stop watching Put a TV in your room. Get the TV out of your room. Get to bed. Get real deep REM sleep. Stop drinking cold water with ice. Drink teas, hot water. Drink more water when you're not eating. Don't dilute your meals with a bunch of water or soda. Get rid of high fructose corn syrup, glyphosate are probably some of the two biggest. Processed sugar, another one. Just spend an extra $1 and get cleaner stuff. So save money on stuff that's just trash and put it towards cleaner stuff. Like good companies that have really tasty stuff, like Just Ingredients is really clean and really tasty. And they make all sorts of fun little bone broths and strawberry this and chocolate that. And I love them. They use only organic, real sweeteners. They don't use fake toxic sweeteners to sweeten their products. That's a really good company. Or Science for Health is a good one. Or, I'd say a next one is like, make sure you're getting like just natural fats, avocado, extra virgin olive oil. Take a shot of extra virgin olive oil every day. Use it raw, cook with ghee. Change up, what you like the seasonings, like salt and lemon is like kind of all you need, or use tamari sauce or gluten-free soy sauce. It tastes the same. Be careful. I'd be careful of shellfish, sushi, and pork. Like if you don't need it, cut out pork. It's full of parasites. It's a toxic animal. If you don't need it, don't pay for the lobster. It's probably trash, probably full of DHT in the ocean. Try to get wild caught salmon is probably the best thing you can get. And just be careful of shellfish, especially raw. And if you just got to be because these things, if you have poor digestion, you could give yourself some of these problems. And if you do all this stuff and you just move your body, whether you like yoga or you like lifting weights or you just want to go out and walk or, whatever you do, just move and then, really sleep. And I think you're already you're helping the wave from the metaphor we've talked about today, just work better. And it's not that hard. So don't get overwhelmed by all the science and the craziness unless you're really sick. But if you start acting now with these simple things, you might save yourself hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars. And you might save
years of misery.
Years of misery, dude. Like my naturopath professor used to say, people get rich, they sacrifice their health to get rich, and then they sacrifice their riches to get healthy. And he was spot on. It's like, yeah, I'm worth 10 million and I'm 50 years old now, but I'm now like got all these health problems and I need to spend, $100,000 a year to hire all these people to try to save me. It's, act now. And I promise you, it's not that hard. And most people around you are kind of thinking the same thing. So once once our society changes, it's no longer hard. Like the reason we can brush our teeth twice a day is because society does it. The reason we can't get alcohol is because it's society. Yeah.
So what are some, you gave a lot of resources on this call already. for listeners that are like, where do they start? Where do they start? Okay.
We said rule number one, just make right now. It's like, what do you do? Just say, Dane, I'm just going to know this for 30 days. Okay. Like try to only eat. Here's a few one I love. Only eat when you're actually eating 3 meals a day. Stop snacking. It's not helping. You're like, oh, it's a beef stick. Okay, cool. Whatever. But still, right? Just try that. 2, stop drinking out of plastic water bottles, drink real water, and get a clean source of water. Okay. Number 3, try to go dry, no alcohol and, no crappy fast food. Let's say that. No fried food or fast food for 30 days. Next, if you've got a TV in your bedroom, unplug it, take it out, make your bedroom a place you sleep. Sleep, make love, and talk. That's it. Or meditate. Right. Read a book. That's it. Maybe you got your little phone in there. That's okay. I still have the phone in there, right? You can do a little bit of EMF and blue light. Next is try to throw in things that can only help and can't hurt, like prayer, meditation, minerals, electrolytes. Like get an electrolyte. If you're low energy, get some electrolytes in. Like the Just Ingredients, fruit punch or lemonade's a great one. We need something super clean, Body Bio Elite. Really, really good. Next is when you cook meals, man, cook the best stuff. Like if you save money on alcohol, throw it into like a really good grass-fed beef. Maybe get that beef with liver we talked about. Spend a little money and get some sprouted nuts. Get the better, organic berries that, aren't filled with pesticides and herbicides. Clean them with distilled water and baking soda. Just start making swaps. Like think of it like a trade. How I always say, create wealth in your health. Like I think a lot of people can understand the concepts now of like how to build wealth. Like I'm going to get rid of this crappy spending that's not building my wealth. And I'm going to put it into my 401k, or I'm going to put it into Bitcoin, or I'm going to put it into like a house that's got a low interest rate. Like we kind of get the ability of compound effect. Trade it. Like get rid of dirty money spend that hurts your health and start putting it in things that compound your ability to make more money, to be more naturally energetic, to look younger, to feel better. Like attach your why to what you're doing. So create wealth in your health and just start making some subs. It could be like, hey, I love diet soda. Change to Olipop. Hey, I love alcohol. Okay, if you can't get rid of the alcohol, do Dry Farms wine or organic tequila or gluten-free vodka only with like soda and a splash of OJ or a splash of cranberry. Like you're just drastically reducing the amount of sugar and chemicals you're getting in like all those sweetened drinks. Little things like that, or
Gotcha.
Just put a whole house water filtration. You own your house, go to Springwell, and get a whole house RO water system, and your bath water, your sink water, your shower water, all of it will be cleaned. Like the hose water will be cleaned. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
It's like $1,000.
Most people don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. The installation's like another $1,000 because you need to get copper pipe. You need to open up your water line and have a guy come and install it. But then it's done. Like, I don't shower in chlorine anymore. You know what I'm saying? So there's all these swaps you can just do, and you create wealth in your health. Like, what good is it to have all this money and work so hard if you don't feel good in your body? And who cares if you turn 40 or 50 if you feel freaking great? Like, who cares? Oh, I'm getting old. No, you're getting old because you're so sick. I'm healthy. If I'm healthy at 60 and I live to 90, I'm younger than the guy who's 40 and 6, only going to live to 55 before he has a heart attack. You get it? He's got 15 years. I've got 30.
I've heard recently the average health span is 63, which is not old at all.
No
really
bueno.
bad.
No bueno.
Yeah.
I mean, 63, dude. I know, people are just getting into it, man. They're just blowing up their careers and getting into that next life at 63. You're not even retired yet. My dad's 69 years old. He still works.
Oh, that's great. It's great.
Right?
Well, we're just about out of time, but you really given a lot of good info in the podcast. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Again, let's just reiterate where people can get, a toehold and get started and start following your information, and then, we'll close out.
Yeah, totally. Well, I hope I gave you guys some great to-dos and ahas. I mean, podcast, it's all about having some takeaways. That's what I love in a podcast. Hope you guys got some. If you guys need help, here's the deal with me and my team. We specialize in IBD. If you've got severe gut issues and you're undiagnosed or IBS, we'll talk with you, and whatever's integrity. We just need to make sure we can actually help you out if we're going to work with you. But we offer a free IBD session, free session to deep dive in your case. So your experiences, conventional medicine, natural medicine, background, what worked, food fear, what didn't, just hold space. To get results, you got to have someone hold space for you, and it's free, no hassle, no gimmicks. So you can check us out, CrohnsColitisLifestyle.com, or Instagram, CrohnsColitisLifestyle, or, website, YouTube, you can find us, and, book a call if you feel like you want to talk and hear more about how we can help and talk about your case. Just keep the hope, realize that being healthy is the number one thing for everything else you want in your life. Great marriage, great health, great wealth, great mental, great sleep, not as scared of getting older. It's all connected. You are the answer. Be the CEO of your health. It starts right now. It might not be easy, but it's doable, and it's the most valuable thing on the planet.
Excellent. Well, Dane, thank you so much for coming on this podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, brother.
If you like this podcast, please click the link in the description to subscribe and review us on iTunes.
Thank you for listening to the Good Question Podcast. Please email support@thegoodquestionpodcast.com if you have any referrals to great guests for us to interview. Visit thegoodquestionpodcast.com to hear more interviews. And please help us spread the word by rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen to this podcast.